Hello, hello. Can you hear us? They won't be able to hear us from these microphones yet, will they?
They won't.
We've been trying to go fancy, guys. Have we tried reversing the polarity of the neutron flow?
There you go.
That's the one we should have tried. Oh, it's people. Good, you can hear us, Forrest. Hey, everybody. To do with the device we're now using. We tried to go fancy. Had to pare it back a bit, so we're on my laptop. We should still be able to achieve something with this.
So we're just working on the little technical aspects.
Stephen Turner, it's 4 a.m. in Macau, and you've got a nice cup of space tea. Thank you for joining us and your space crackers. We've got our space children to bed.
Yeah.
We hope. We're ready to hang out with you. Magic Thighs is here. No. Got Rafe. Andrew's here. Allison's here. Yes, technology is magic today. Chris did do a lot of setup today, but it's our first time, so.
Obviously, I didn't do enough.
The gods of technology were not kind. John's here. Did I say John? I said you were first up. So, they can hear us.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
We just need to be recording.
Our audio is going to be recording for the show. Just want to make sure that that's as it should be.
Microphone.
You do need that microphone. And hopefully you guys can all hear us all right.
All right. Magic Thigh says, I came to watch how the professionals do it. But since they weren't available, I guess you two will do instead. Yep.
Professional what?
Professional what? Hey, Tony. Good to see you. Rebecca Russell. Hey. It says, who run the world? Goals. Who runs this mother? Who runs this mother? Good. God, you can hear us, Forrest.
Okay, that's there.
Oh, thanks, Stephen. I was there to encourage us.
Now
Says we look and sound fabulous.
Yeah, I can move this there so you guys can get a bit more of my mug.
Seagulls, stop it now, says Ray. We run this mother. Oh, I just like reading out people's comments. This is fun.
Well, let's just jump in to our show recording. I'm going to start recording the file.
I'll be keeping my eye on your comments, but no doubt we won't be able to keep up with them. So if we don't, we'll read them all later and enjoy them then. Yeah.
Well, oh, he's in Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn, 3 p.m. I'm glad you're here, John. Right, let's get going. So you're going to see the usual process we have. Testing. Hey, it looks like something's coming up on there. So we've got audio.
That's what we want.
You're going to see us just doing our show like we normally do.
Yeah.
With our scripts and our hanging out.
Script on my phone.
With each other.
Yeah.
And the extra bonus of us being able to know you're there and seeing what you're up to. Hey, Stefan. Hey, Space Plan 10. Who stole your chips? Well, it will always be goals, won't it? Those cheeky mothers. Right. So, sidling in.
Getting in. So, Rachel.
Yeah?
Wesley falls in love with the new leader of a war-torn world. What do you think you're going to get?
I'm seeing gold faux leather bra and straps and maybe like a Roman skirt on her, but she's sensitive really on the inside. Maybe he'll be tempted for a moment to leave the Enterprise for her. Maybe Whoopi'll talk him around. They don't usually send Wes to a planet anymore, so I'm guessing it's that this all happens on the ship. What do you think?
That sounds pretty good.
Okay, let's dive in.
Whoop.
So I did write that before I saw it.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm saying it, and I have seen it. Yeah.
And I know that she's seen it, so
it's
the magic.
Just exposing the lies there.
Yeah.
Peter Larson's here. Hey, Peter. Hey, Stefan in Sweden. Great. Oh, this is lovely.
Nice. I like it. Okay.
All right. So we have the intro clip now. Captain's log.
No, there's no Captain's log in this episode, so there is no intro clip. We're just going straight into it.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rachel Watches Star Trek. I'm Rachel Lackey.
And I'm Chris Lackey.
And we're here to present you with the Dauphin. Which species are you?
Am I? What species am I?
What species are you?
Human.
Excellent.
Oh.
It reminds me of that woman in Santa Monica who would come up to you and say, "What's your heritage?" And you'd say, "Dutch, Irish, or whatever." And
Yeah.
very good. This is what the lizardy lady protector says later.
Yeah.
What species are you? Human. Excellent.
Yeah, that's what she's into it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Tom Connery from Yorkshire. Yes.
Oh, wait, are you in Yorkshire now, or are you just from Yorkshire?
Peter Mellett, hey, from Cornwall. Lovely. Look at him with his sunglasses on, his emoji there. Cheeky. David Wetzel. Oh, that's great. Hope we haven't missed anybody in the flow of things now. Oh, Stephen Turner says it's so cool. We're all hanging out together. Yeah. Yay. Yeah, Tom's in Sheffield. Woo. All right. We'll be allowed to go that far sometime soon.
Yeah, no. So this episode is called Dauphin, or how do you...
Dauphin.
Dauphin. Which is French for dolphin.
It's not.
It is.
Is it?
That's what I read.
All right.
And yet, spoilers, there are no dolphins in this episode.
Boo. Was hoping. Well, actually, I didn't know it meant dolphins, so I wasn't hoping. The term was also used by the French aristocracy as the title of the crown prince back before the revolution. Yeah. Dauphin is the eldest son, but it should be Dauphine, since the character is female.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm tired of this binary stuff.
God, get on with it.
So the episode begins with the Enterprise going to the planet Clavidia 3.
Oh.
Is that right?
That sounds quite venereal now that you say it, doesn't
Clavdia. It's Clavdia.
Okay.
Clavdia 3.
Yeah.
The Enterprise is going to the planet Clavdia 3. They are there to pick up and transport a young leader, Celia, and her guardian, Anya.
John said he gets to make fun of your pronunciation live. Chlamydia magitasia. That's what I thought it
was. And her guardian, Anya, to take them to the planet Daled 4. Now, Daled 4 has had a civil war for generations. The planet is in tidal lock, meaning that there is a night side and a day side, and never the two shall cross.
You might know a bit about that over in Norway, eh? We don't know. This creates two differently evolved cultures, which is where the conflict lies.
Celia is the offspring of people from both sides and is expected to bring some kind of reconciliation to the planet.
I'm so distracted by these funny comments. It's right next door to herpes 4. Oh, I really hope those dolphins are hanging out with puppies, Forrest, if that's what you said, because that's my kind of episode.
Yeah.
So a lot of pressure on poor Celia here. She's supposed to be saving 2 nations. Her parents have died.
Yeah.
She's been brought up. She's another young woman who's been brought up basically on her own on a planet. Awful.
Yeah.
At least this time she's with a woman instead of some creepy old scientist guy.
Yeah, true. Now, LaForge tells the captain that they need some time to do maintenance on the engines, and it should only take a few hours, and Picard approves it, and little Wesley goes down to help Geordi out.
Geordi's very proactive this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the screen. Our recording device keeps clamping out on us, and then we keep having to re-record things. So we've put it in the script. Watch the screen.
Watch the screen.
It looks to be okay.
Watch the screen.
Okay, good. Everybody just occasionally type in, watch the screen, please.
Wait a minute. Instead of me, we can just do that.
Oh, you can be part of it. Part of your world.
There we go.
They beam up Celia and Anya to the Enterprise. Celia is a young woman, teenager, 27 at the time of filming, and seems very intelligent and inquisitive. She's spent a long time doing her book smarts. Very girl next door as well, though. But they've gone for a real French medieval vibe with the costumes, space style. I like them. I think they're really good.
I didn't pick that up, but now that you say that, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, watch the screen and drink your tea. I don't have any tea, Stephen.
No.
Jamie was 26, 27 at the time. Will was 16.
Ooh.
And she's another Star Trek actor who went on to become a therapist. Seems to be quite a theme now. Isn't it? Well, we've had a few.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh,
Quite a few.
well, I know that the actress that played Mackenzie on Manimal is now a professional therapist.
Yeah. Well, you would become, wouldn't you? You'd be all kinds of confused about human nature. I mean, I've never seen the show, but it sounds pretty. Yay, therapy! Good job.
Yeah.
She doesn't want Celia to do anything. She doesn't want Celia to do anything. Celia sees Wesley in the corridor, and oh man, does the orchestra of swoon start playing in their minds. Not before he sees her, though, and has a little swoon. She rushes over to talk to him about the ship part he's carrying. She wants to know more about his part. Woo! Yes, John therapists are cool.
Sparks fly, hormones, and Anya quickly demonstrates her title, the cock blocker.
Yeah, she's going to be cock blocking it up all the way through this episode in her little lizard garb that she's wearing.
So Celia is quickly whisked away to their quarters.
Wesley asks Riker, "Who's that girl?" Riker says, "The future ruler of a planet. Score!" She's pretty too.
Who's that girl?
Lady. Oh, I was thinking it was a different song. What's your song?
Madonna.
All right. Running around with you. No,
that's
the
the
third song.
Eurythmics. That's the Eurythmics.
Okay. I don't know what I was doing. She was pretty, so good casting. I agree, Stefan. She was. I feel really disloyal saying this. I shouldn't even say it. But I thought from her teeth she might be English. That's really rude. I'm sorry, and I shouldn't have said it. But she was born in Germany. But she's obviously not had the US dental regime of braces and stuff, has she?
Yeah.
But she's gorgeous, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes her, people think that they might be able to stand a chance.
Right. That's it, yeah.
Yeah. She's a model.
She's a model.
She is a model.
So
Wesley's dicking around.
Yes. So Wesley's dicking around in his quarters when Data shows up. Seems Wesley asked Data to come talk to him.
Maybe because he knows he won't spread it around or something. He's not embarrassed in front of him.
But why is Data making house calls?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Data.
Like, yeah, why doesn't he go to Data's quarters and say, "Hey, Data, I got a question. I want to talk to you." But Data's just, it's really...
That's the bit that you got upset about.
It really bothered me. Well, anyway, Wesley wants to talk to Data about Celia and her people and what the lowdown is. And Data's like, well, basically, all we know is what was said at the top of the show. But I'll tell you again.
Yeah, just to remind you.
Since her dead parents were of different factions, she's expected to bring these two factions together. So she's very important. Nobody else can do it.
Picard calls down to Celia's quarters from the bridge to check on the guests, and Celia says they're fine. In fact, she's swooning and she's trying to get more information about Wesley. Then Troy says there's something they're hiding, but I don't know what, as usual. There's something hidden about who they are. Will this come in handy? Will it? Heck. They'll just have to find it out themselves with their eyes. You could ask him to do anything for you, says John about Data. Ooh,
oh, my.
Now we're thinking.
Hey, now.
Data doesn't mind doing anything, says John. He really is emphasizing this point.
I wonder if that would be the case.
And Rafe says it is Data's quarters. Wesley's quarters are Data's redressed. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I wonder.
Well, he will go to Guinan, David Wetzel. He will go to Guinan, don't worry.
He does indeed.
And finally.
So we're now in Celia's quarters, but then there's another woman there, a teenage girl, and it's Shelley Johnson from Twin Peaks.
As Stefan says, she is 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Grief.
She's a very attractive woman, and she was attractive on Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks it was a bevy of attractive women. It was just overflowing with attractive women of all ages.
It was lousy with them.
It was lousy with attractive women. But Machin Amick is her name, the actress that plays Shelley Johnson. But we don't know who she is. She just walks in and she's just talking to Celia like they're best buds, but we have no introduction to her. And you're like, who's she?
Yeah, where's she come from? How did she get on board? And Rafe's just thrown in there that Troy's pissed because they're actually in her room. If you look in HD, you can see it says Lieutenant Commander Troy on the door.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Sloppy.
Sloppy Joe.
So are they conjuring people up now? She's so alluring. Where's she come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We don't know. But they seem like the best buddies. Shelley affirms that Shelley affirms that Celia has a duty and that she shouldn't get distracted with ships and boys. The woman then transforms into this little creature, which is like a little
bit of a cousin Ewok.
Yeah, kind of Ewok-y kind of thing with real big eyes.
Yeah.
But when this happens, she's like, yeah, whatever. It's no biggie.
What the heck?
Yeah, we don't know what's going on, but I'm guessing that they will explain.
It's really cute. She talks to it in English and it replies in clicks. So I don't know how we're supposed to interpret that with the whole.
Yeah, that's a good question.
What's going on with this species? I don't know.
What is that about?
But they're holding hands. They're continuing the conversation they were having as one female friend to another.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different sort of vibe from the cock blocker, but as we'll find out, it's the same being.
It's the same being. Wesley has got girl on the brain and he keeps messing up at work, and Geordie finally says, look, you are useless to me. Get the heck out of here.
It had to happen someday, says Geordie. Hormones. So well, just let him go and have a day off. Magic Guy says, what even is this episode? Shape-changing Ewoks. I've seen all of TNG and I do not remember this madness. Have you never seen it? maybe someone's tricking us and it's not a real episode.
Yeah, a few years ago when I did my rewatch of TNG, there were a few episodes that I had never seen before that had somehow slipped out of my.
They're just never shown on syndication or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never saw them, and I was surprised. I was like, what? So it's great, but I've seen them all now.
Yeah,
I know for sure that I have. Where was
You're no use to me now.
Oh, so Geordie says, go talk to her. Go chat her up. And he's like, what do I say?
Oh, he doesn't.
And he's like, just talk to her about whatever you like. And, it'll work itself out. And he goes, but what do I do? And he's like, look, don't ask me.
Just let me get on with my work.
I've got not only to do my work, I got to do your work now.
Yeah.
So get the F out.
Special treatment or what?
Oh, yeah.
For Wesley.
Maybe they do that to all their engineers.
The ones who are going through puberty.
Like if they get girl/boy on the brain.
Peter Larson says hormones are a hell of a drug.
Oh boy, it's true.
So Wesley goes to Worf for some love advice for some wild reason.
Okay.
And we get this.
So
now we'll play the clip, but we're
going to play the clip on the show, but for you guys, we're going to perform.
And perform.
You're gonna be Worf?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That is how the Klingon laws are made. Why am I doing that accent? Does he have an American accent?
He is American, yeah.
Yeah. That is how the Klingon laws are made.
Are you telling me to go yell at Celia?
No, men do not roar, women roar. Then they hurl heavy objects and claw at you.
What does the man do?
He reads love poetry. He ducks a lot.
Worf, sounds like it works great for Klingons, but I think I need to try something a little less dangerous.
Then go to her door, beg like a human.
Oh.
Ray thinks I sounded like Chewbacca. I tried. Dawn's really funny in this scene.
Yeah, he is.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
He's really enjoying remembering the Klingon mating ritual. Maybe a little bit too much as he gives advice to a teenager. He's 16. But...
a human teenager, too.
Well, yeah, it's not relevant, is it?
He should know better. I think he was just like, look.
He did ask, though.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So Picard is going to take Anya on a trip, or at least have her escorted on a little journey around the ship, show it off to her.
Rub it in, what she can never have.
Celia, unfortunately, isn't allowed to go. She has to stay in the quarters.
Oh, yeah, Anya.
Anya's
allowed.
Anya's the mom, or the guardian, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Now, we see this little creature actually morph into Anya, so we know that Anya is a shapeshifter.
She's much nicer when she's the little Ewok.
Yeah,
isn't she?
And when she's Shelley, she's also she's nicer too. Oh, finally, Wesley goes to Riker for some romance advice. I mean, we were all thinking it. Like, immediately, it's like, go to Riker. He knows what's going on.
Supposedly. This is your dream, though. Chris is always handing out unsolicited flirting advice to single people. Just because... Thanks for the compliment. And then basically your advice is ask them questions, isn't it, or something? Is it?
I'm not going to be giving out my advice online after you just admonished me for doing so.
Sorry. Yeah, it seems uncertain if Worf's telling a joke or being serious, says Stefan. Yeah, is he just sort of having a laugh with Wesley? But he seems really turned on, doesn't he?
I think he's being honest. I think what he's telling him, he just knows that that Wesley is not ready for this information. So he's kind of shocking him a bit, I think. That's the impression I got.
Which, I mean, Guinan and Riker are no more helpful. Let's be frank about it.
Riker decides that he's going to get Guinan to help him demonstrate how to talk to a lady.
Yeah. And then we get this.
Okay, so do you want to be Riker?
I'll be Guinan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the first words out of your mouth are the most important. You may want to start with something like this. You're the most beautiful woman in the galaxy. But that might not work.
Yes, it would.
You don't know how long I've longed to tell you that.
But you were afraid?
Yes.
Of me?
Of us. Of what we might become.
Commander?
Or that you might think it's a line.
Maybe I do think it's a line.
Then you think I'm not sincere?
I didn't say that. There's nothing wrong with a line. It's like a knock on the door.
Then you're inviting me in.
I'm not sending you away.
That's more than I expected.
Is it as much as you hoped?
To hope is to recognize the possibility. I had only dreams.
Dreams can be dangerous.
Not these dreams. I dream of a galaxy where your eyes are stars and the universe worships the night.
Careful. Putting me on a pedestal so high you might not be able to reach me.
Then I'll learn how to fly. You are the heart in my day and the soul in my night.
I don't think this is my style. Shut up, kid. Tell me more about my eyes. That was a long clip. That's really good. I like it.
It's funny. It's really funny.
David Wetzel's in for, I think, a new show called Chris Love Connection.
Yeah, I could get
Lacking in love? Ask Lackey about love. That's magic, that is. I can't keep looking at these comments too much. They're too good.
It's fine. That's the whole reason we're doing this.
We got nothing but time.
We'll edit this thing down, or maybe some of this will be in the show. I don't know. We'll see how it works ultimately.
Oh, I love it. I found that scene really funny.
Yeah, I did too.
Guinan finds it cheesy at first, you can see in her face, but then she decides to get into it.
Yeah.
And then she does get into it.
Yeah.
I think
she does too. I think her and Riker get it on after that.
Do you think?
Oh, yeah, why not?
I wasn't sure whether they were getting into each other just to make Wes awkward, or they did start getting into each other, or both, or...
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were playing kind of this game, it was sort of like a line game. Like, could they, they were hitting back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I think they got into that and forgot all about Wesley, and then
he just has to sidle out.
It was funny. It was a really funny scene.
And we do get the Riker maneuver in that scene too, Rafe, if you talk about the leg over the chair.
Yeah, the Riker maneuver.
He shows her the goods as he enters the conversation, doesn't he?
Shows us the goods.
Yep.
Oh boy. So Wesley finally just ovaries up and goes to talk to Celia.
Passing by a very beefy guard on the way who's kind of holding his arms to show off his full guns. Noticed that in the second viewing.
Now Anya is away on her Starship tour, so it's a little alone time, and they get he goes to the replicator, gets her some chocolate mousse, and she never tried it before. But get this, he doesn't give her a spoon, so she uses her finger to eat it, which is pretty erotic now that I think about it. Oh,
Well,
she's putting her finger in her mouth.
Yeah, but she only does it once. It's not enough to get you going, is it? In, out. I don't know.
Oh my.
Peter says, how did Riker change from creepy to sultry? We've come so far. He says, you're right.
Yeah, it has. I think it's better writing. for one. And I think that
he's toned it down on the kind of the eye acting or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not trying to be so. Instead, he just is.
He's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I see him.
Spaceplan 10 says the creatures look like taxidermy disasters. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're not
There's
great.
some dodge stuff in here. So they've got a weird thing going on about chocolate mousse in this whole episode. She just licks a little bit off her finger and then he takes it back from her and makes her leave it behind. And then they do something similar at the end. I don't get it. Maybe she can't eat. Can she only maybe just taste things? She's not actually
Maybe.
human.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. She should have an outtake where she just buries her face in it. I agree, Rafe. That's how I would have eaten it if it had been given to me. If you've never had it before, go for it.
Oh, they talk, and Wesley discovers that she's never been to any other planet, so he decides he's going to take her to the holodeck to show her some of the good stuff.
Woo! Check the screen. Yes.
Basically, it's just a bunch of planets, all green screen with some fancy stuff that we see there. But Wesley's kind of showing off because he's like, oh yeah, I've been to all these planets.
But he's doing it with grace. He does it well, doesn't he? He manages to not sound like a D-ball.
Oh yeah.
While he is essentially showing off. Well, she's lapping it up and she's touching him, sidling up.
Mm-hmm.
If he asked her any questions or if he had any emotional intelligence, which the character usually has, I'd say, he might realize it's kind of cruel that he's showing her all this stuff, going on about his exciting life. Because doesn't he know that she's never going to be able to go anywhere and she never has been anywhere?
Yeah, that's true.
If you've never had it before, just go for it is more advice for Chris Love connections.
All right.
Yeah, this is right in itself, isn't it?
It is. But the holodeck, where were we? Showing off.
Anya's with Worf.
Oh, right. Anya's with Worf on this tour, and she's really starting to believe that the ship is not safe. Actually, if she watched the previous episodes,
she's got good reason.
She has good reason. So she goes into engineering and she starts telling LaForge how to do his job, and he's just like, "Look, lady, I've handled it.
I'm on it.
Beat it." And eventually she leaves. Then they go to sick bay, and then there's a guy there that's getting a treatment for a disease
under his little sparkly blanket.
And she says, "Oh wait, that's contagious, isn't it?" And Pulaski's like, "Well,
kind of.
We're
not bothered about infection control here. We'll just see what happens. We're not bothered."
Again.
She says, "Kill him."
Anya says, "Kill the guy. We can't. He's a risk to my ward. We can't have that." And she turns into a big monster, and Worf has to wrestle with her.
Yeah, barely. It's barely a tussle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is it's quite weak. If you're going to have a monster, at least attempt a proper fight.
Yeah, they should have had a full-on real fight where stuff gets wrecked and all that type of exciting thing, but unfortunately they don't do that.
Even if she's only doing it to scare him, she could do something scarier, but maybe she's just trying not to get killed. I don't know. Yeah,
there could be that there's just they've got a budget, they can't. They have to do choreography, fight scene choreography, and hire a stunt guy to come in there and do all this. So what they just have is basically doing. Yeah. We can show you. Look, like this.
I mean, it's actually slower than the Gorn fight. And worse. Certainly less iconic.
It is a little bit slower than the Gorn fight.
If you can't afford to do it, don't do it at all. That's what I say.
Man.
3 security guards, at least one of whom is a competition winner, in my opinion, come in and just stand there holding a phaser and doing nothing with it. Right. Eventually, Picard says, "Hold your fire." Nobody is firing.
Nope.
And then she turns back into the granny lizard lady. And then Worf nearly backhands her.
Oh, I know.
Once she's back to being an old lady. Yeah. Really tiny old lady as well.
She's not scared, though. He goes to backhand her and she's just like, "Bring it."
Whatevs. Yeah, Steven says, "Finally a woman who's strong enough to snuggle with Worf." Snuggle.
Picard tells her that she is now confined to quarters, and then she storms out. There's a great scene between Anya and Worf later, the two protectors.
Yeah, she's trying to get him on side that you get me, don't you? We're both, that's our essence, is to protect others.
Yeah, but that's at the end of the episode. He kind
of goes along with it. Oh, well, they have another good scene here, I think, as well. After their date on the holodeck, Wesley takes Celia to Tem forward for some more ice cream. She explains she'll never be able to leave Dalad 4, but Wesley suggests that she stay on the Enterprise. I did when my mum left. You know, I get to do whatever I want. Any kid can, you know. Really privileged person who just doesn't get that it's not the same rules for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, she just walks out, Celia. And Guinan says, just because she's left doesn't mean don't follow.
Mm-hmm.
So he does, and she gives him some mixed messages of leave me alone, and then she comes back again to talk to him.
Yeah. In the corridor, they run into Picard and Anya. She gets back to her old job, cock blocking, and they leave poor little Wesley all alone in the corridor, being sad. They arrive at Dalad 4, but it looks inhospitable, just like the place where they picked them up. But their sensors are having problems penetrating its dust storms.
It looks awful there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, poor thing. Picard has a little sit down with Wesley saying, look, what my crew folk do on their own time is their business, but I really need you to not snog Celia. Wesley reluctantly agrees to leave her alone. What is the Prime Directive situation here? Do they have warp technology but no ship to get somewhere?
That's a good question. I don't know. Obviously, they have some sort of deal with the Federation because they asked them to taxi cab them over to this planet.
Yeah.
So
they can't get there, but presumably they know about all this technology. Well, they do because she's been studying it, hasn't she? So maybe that means it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She knows by just looking at what Wesley was carrying. She knew exactly what piece of warp core it was. So obviously they got warp technology.
There's some thread going on about Worf getting it on and having his Klingon 50 Shades gear on when he comes back in. Very entertaining. Very distracting, guys. Good job.
It's great.
I love it.
We've got an hour.
What else are you doing? This is fun.
We're doing great.
Love it.
And we're pretty close to the end of the episode here.
And the kids went back to school today. Woo!
Oh, man. What a dream.
I don't dare believe it. They'll be back home again tomorrow with
some kids
bloody infection, probably.
Just a positive.
Yeah.
Probably.
Now,
poor Wesley, he's all by himself playing what looks like some kind of solo backgammon. Not exactly sure what it is. And there's a little beep beep at the door. And guess who? Why can't I say her name? Celia.
Woo!
It's Celia. Celia, she's there looking for a little action.
We bet she's going to give it a little bit of this.
She wants to get that groove on.
She wants to do what people naturally do when they're alone together or something, she says.
Yeah, she comes on real strong. She's there for some action, and Wesley is up for it. So they do
I was suspicious, though, because she seemed really sort of happy and relaxed more than before. So I thought it might be the cock blocker in disguise.
Oh, God, why? Why would she do that?
She's trying to catch him out and then eat him or something.
Oh, my God. No, it's not. It's Anya, and it's not Anya. It's Celia. It's Celia, and she's just ready to get it on.
Yeah.
And by get it on, I mean gently touch lips.
Last chance for love.
Yeah, it's not the hot snogging, no cop in the field.
Might have been his first ever kiss.
I think it is. I think that's what it's kind of implied. They say in the background stuff.
Thought he'd already kissed already.
No. They talk in the script about this being Wesley's first romantic interest.
And Will's, maybe.
Maybe.
Don't know. I thought he would have got a bit of action.
Yeah, but I've heard Will Wheaton talk about him being a real nerd when he was growing up, so he didn't get a lot of.
Rafe says it was Will Wheaton's first screen kiss.
There you go.
Yeah. But had he already got it on in real life, Rafe? Go and ask him.
I don't know.
Thank you. Is it me if they finally get the message?
Oh, I'm sorry. So she seems to be way happier. Oh, no. Anya bumps in and turns into a monster. Then Celia turns into a monster. What? They're the same type of being.
Well, different. There are other taxidermy disasters.
Oh, no. But they're both shapeshifters.
They're both shapeshifters. And it's kind of stop motion-y. They do a good job of it.
It's a morph. It's a morph. But what they did, I was reading about this, they actually took photographs and then they, by hand, animated the transition from one form into the other instead of using, a computer to sort it out. Because that, I think, was a little bit later, in Michael Jackson's black or white video, they had the face morphing. That was a big deal. Yeah. So this was, I think, a precursor to that, and they just did it by hand. Space
1999, says JR. Do they have that kind of effect in that?
No.
No, is that something else?
Oh, maybe. Did they do that in Space 1999?
They redid them for the HD remaster, Rafe says. Because it looks pretty good, doesn't it? But it means everyone has to stand completely still quite a bit of the time. Screen, thank you.
Oh,
it's fine. It's fine.
going.
Thanks,
Good.
Stephen. He's looking out for us.
I appreciate it. Okay, so Anya turns back into a human, and so does Celia. Wesley is a little freaked out by this whole thing.
Yeah, but not that bad, is he? I mean, he's seen a few things. He turns out he's pretty pissed off she didn't tell him about it.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't seem too scared, does he?
Yeah. We get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We get to that.
They finally get the message to beam down the passengers, and Celia comes to say goodbye to Wesley. He's hurt about her pretending to be human.
Okay. You be Wesley, I be Celia? No.
What?
I'll be Wesley.
I'm too busy reading the comments.
Come in.
Wesley, I have to go now.
Was it fun?
What do you mean?
Playing humanoid. Was it fun?
Wesley, look at me. Right now, this minute, this is what I am. A humanoid girl.
What are you really?
Does it matter?
Yes.
Yeah, why would I ask if it matters? Our natural state is one unlike anything you can imagine.
So you took this form for our benefit? That's why you wanted to know what species we are.
I'm sorry I hurt you. I didn't mean to.
I loved you.
I love you too.
Can you?
Yes. Oh, yes. I have the same feelings, the same emotions as you. You must believe me.
Please go.
Wesley, let's not say goodbye like this. For such different aliens, it's a coincidence that they've got exactly the same emotions and love at first sight and stuff, isn't it?
But that's some cold lunch Wesley's serving up right there.
Yeah.
He's pretty harsh with her.
Yeah, but he does feel like he's been betrayed or lied to or something, doesn't he?
Now, this is a thought that I had. We watched a documentary about trans representation in film, and they were talking about how a lot of times what was happening in movies was a trans person was tricking a straight person or
like in that Ace Ventura Pet Detective, that was one of the awful examples of it.
Terrible.
Where they found out the
person
was trans and they were all puking.
Yeah, well, Crying Game as well. Remember, like when he discovers that she's has a penis, he punches her.
Oh, right.
Do you remember? I mean,
I haven't seen it.
Pretty.
Yeah,
it's a good movie, but yeah. So there's this idea, and I wonder, and I thought to myself, I go, well, is this some kind of parallel to that? You know, the fact that Wesley feels like he's been betrayed or tricked or deceived about who she's not, who she isn't.
It's a good point to make, but I think for me the difference is that her natural state is not what she's presenting as now, whereas a trans person would be in their natural state as they met you for date. She's various other beings, but the one he hasn't even seen the one she really is.
Let me defend myself here.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that it is exactly the same thing.
No,
because obviously she's a shape-shifting alien. But it made me sort of think about that, especially at this time. If there was some kind of parallel or some sort of metaphor that was going on, I'm not sure.
Don't know if they would have been right on enough to present it consciously at the time, but it still doesn't. You can still read it.
But what's the responsibility for somebody to divulge information about? Something about yourself. Like, so if you're going on a date with somebody, how many dates before you can tell them that you
are a metamorph?
Yeah, that you can tell me, no, I mean, seriously, like if you've got some sort of maybe it's a physical malady of some kind, or maybe how about a prosthetic limb? Mm-hmm. Like that's something that's not apparent, but you have one. When are you supposed to divulge these things?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I like listening to Savage Lovecast.
Yes.
Love advice. And he says their first date's not a deposition.
No.
But you probably shouldn't go to your first date in disguise. It's a different species. But this is a holiday romance.
It is.
So anything goes, because, he might never have found out.
Yeah.
He always knew she was leaving.
Yeah.
So speaking from experience, Magic Thighs agrees with me. No, I haven't read the rest of the comment. Tell them as soon as possible, he says. Okay. Yeah. You know what it's like to be a metamorph and all that. And trick somebody. I want to know more about that story. Tell me another time. That's good. So Anya and Celia prepare to say goodbye. Anya's much more tender now than she was before, and you see a little bit more of the mother side of her than the cock-blocking protector.
Yeah.
Because her protector job is complete. She's delivered her. She's trained her. She's there. And now she's going to bugger off and go and live on the moon that she used to live on. She's not even going with her.
No.
That's harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Or I feel like they were trying to stick that in for just a little extra drama, to kind of make it interesting. But I don't know why she wouldn't go with her, or why she wouldn't advise her. Or maybe the reason why she couldn't be there, now I'm just thinking about it, it could be that she is from one of the factions.
Yeah.
And that if she was there, it would make it look like she was favoring one of the factions, so she couldn't go with her.
Yeah, so she's got to be impartial. Well, really, they should have had two people raise her, one from each, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Or maybe she is from a separate race. I don't know. Rafe says, do you think that's why Picard is reluctant to date anyone he doesn't already know? He's worried it'll turn out to be Q. Surprise! As they get married, pulls back the veil, and it's Q.
Oh golly. But where do we leave up on?
So they part on good terms, but no hug. That's what you get for cock blocking.
Yeah. This is her last chance to get some Wesley action, so she's she's
pretty annoyed with the lady.
Yeah. Now, as she's about to leave, Wesley comes to the transporter room with some mousse.
Here, have one fingertip full of this again. Why is he so obsessed with giving her mousse and ice cream?
With no spoon. Let her have a freaking spoonful instead of making her dip her finger in there.
Well, she gets the finger in again. She wants to leave with his taste in her mouth.
Oh, gosh.
But a lick of chocolate will have to do. She's going after this awful life. Why doesn't she just stay for a few spoonfuls?
Yeah. I mean, just 5 more minutes, especially since Wesley's, quit being grumpy pants. Maybe she could... Heck, give her a half hour, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but that might just give her a taste of what she can't have, man.
Yeah. I mean, with Wesley, probably 30 seconds.
Oh.
It's his first time.
Yeah, but...
Anyway.
He might have done some book reading about it.
She asks him to leave because when she transports, she has to be in her natural state, her true form.
Yeah.
And Wesley says, no, I'd like to see it.
So he does.
Yeah, it's like,
he didn't even respect...
Yeah.
Her request.
Yeah, because she says specifically, I want you to remember me this way and not how I am. And he goes, oh, don't worry, I will remember you this way. And she's like, okay. And so she changes into kind of this light blob creature that's like a physical thing, like it's got a base and it kind of goes up shaped.
Pretty, isn't it? It's a light sculpture.
Yeah.
Thing.
And then she transports away. And then we end with the scene in 10 forward. It's Guinan and Wesley. Seeing her on the transporter pad, it was like seeing pure light. I miss her. I feel empty.
I know that sensation, but there'll come a time when all you remember is the love.
I'm never going to feel this way about anyone else.
You're right.
I didn't expect you to say that.
There'll be others, but every time you feel love, it'll be different. Every time it's different.
Knowing that doesn't make it any easier.
It's not supposed to. Oh, you can trust Guinan to give him it straight, can't he? She's not trying to placate or minimize what he's going through, just that it'll feel different every time.
I remember this episode, and I remember being a young lad in love and thinking that was like pretty insightful, and it resonated with me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what you only remember, the love out of past relationships?
No, I don't think that's true. But I think the idea that you love everybody different, like you're never going to have that exact thing that you had with that one person, like with the new person.
Yeah,
because
it's going to be a different dynamic.
Yeah.
A different time in your life.
Yeah.
You'll have different needs.
Yeah. And that's something to remember, like that feeling that when that heartbreak that you have feels, especially when you're young, it feels like your life is over.
Yeah. You'll never get over this person or find someone that connected to you again.
Yeah, yeah. But obviously,
It just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
It gets better. Go ahead, Sidari.
Fill that emptiness with pudding, says Peter to Wesley. I wonder what Guinan's past is, though. What's she had relationship-wise?
Well,
Do we ever get to find out?
Well, we find out Guinan's very old.
Oh.
She's a long-lived creature that resembles a human.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler. God, why did I ask? Sorry.
Well.
Why am I saying sorry to myself? So, concepts. Well, Celia's kind of like a fairy tale princess, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Rapunzel or something. She's got the dead parents. She's shut away by a magical woman who just raises her to her own values and world. And there's the kind of Stockholm syndrome element of that, maybe.
Maybe.
But she's more like Moana, really, in the sense that she's got all that responsibility on her shoulders for her people.
Yeah.
Wes, did he see himself as a prince, do you think? Kind of a bit of a rescuer? Alison Scott says Sleeping Beauty. Like she didn't have any kind of life for a period of time, maybe.
Yeah.
And John says Guinan's got a lot of past. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we learned more stuff about her.
But Wes thought it was all much easier than it actually was. He didn't understand that his privilege makes him an exception to the human rule, to the teenage rule. Yeah.
Well, and that she just had responsibilities already. Like she had stuff she had to do. Nobody else can do it. And he's just like, come hang out on the Enterprise with me.
Yeah, you can do anything you like. I do. So that she was brought up on a planet by one person, the ultimate homeschooling challenge.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah.
I would have needed more than just a terse goodbye at the end of all that, I think. Party, at least.
Yeah.
Some cocktails. So we had duty versus free will in this. And recording on the night of Meghan Markle's interview about duty or the ability to choose your life, you know.
Oh, right.
None of the royals are the only ones capable of bringing peace to two nations, obviously. But the duty to it is heavy nonetheless.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking of healthcare workers too over the past year or so. They must have wrestled, many of them, with their duty to continue against being more burned out than ever.
Yeah.
And their need to perhaps not do that work anymore or do less of that work. They didn't really go into the duty and free will conflict much. She kept mentioning it a few times, but it seemed as though she pretty much accepted throughout that she had to do it.
Yeah, and the fact that she doesn't want to condemn this planet to war. Like she's it's like, well,
it's not just about her.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most people, if I went to you, Rachel, and go, hey, look, you've got to go live on this planet, or hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people will die, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah. Sure would suck.
It would suck, sure, but I mean,
man. Rafe says it's a less violent Ilan of Troyes. Remember her? That really stroppy lady dressed in the Egyptian attire.
Right,
yeah, good call. Yeah.
What's happy talk?
Oh, was it that lady?
Yeah.
Happy talking, happy talk. I don't know. I should probably. That might be inappropriate. It was in the film. It's not my fault. Shapeshifters. I'm not sure how relevant that was to the plot.
No.
So their real form was the light tower, I guess.
Yeah.
And their powers were infinitesimal compared to theirs.
Yeah.
But if she was a light being or a glowing being, why did it matter that half the world was dark and half the world was light? Just light it up.
Yeah.
I've solved it.
I mean, if you're the only light in your world, you would have a very different perspective than somebody that is in a world full of light.
Even if you were of light.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have a very different perspective. But you're lighting it up while you're going around. All of you.
No, but I'm talking about the point of it is that you would be very egocentric because you and your world are the source of light.
Or if you're the only source of light.
Well, yeah, because they're always on the dark side. So the people that are on the light side they are light beings in a world of light. So that kind of would change the way that they feel about things and think about things.
Do you think, because even if they're both sides are light beings, being a light being in a world of darkness would be completely different perspective. Yeah. Fair play, yeah. That would kill the dark beings, says Peter.
Oh, poor dark beings.
There's so many good comments I got to read later. So we had the whole thing with the ice cream and the moose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I've gone back here.
Well, that's concepts?
Yeah, that was in my concepts. What was with her in the ice cream? That was my concept. What is deuterium control conduit? Anyone? Deuterium control conduit. That's what Geordie was messing around with.
Yeah.
And Wesley was supposed to be helping with.
A conduit is
waiting, Rafe.
Stop.
Oh no! Watch the screen.
I saw it happen.
Oh, well done.
Saw it happen.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what that was. Puberty disrupting concentration highlights what important and dangerous work Wesley's been doing this whole time that he's been entrusted with.
Yeah.
What are they going to do about this? Because his hormones aren't going anywhere, are they?
No.
And there might not be anybody around for him to fall in love with, but aren't there supposed to be children, presumably other teenagers on the ship? Maybe he's not bothered by any of them.
Yeah, there should be other teenagers on the ship, but I don't think there are.
No hot ones.
Yeah, or maybe he's just like the oldest in his group, like his youth group. His youth group. Well, like the next oldest kid is like 10 or something. So it could be the case. Yeah,
could be. Peter Lassen said it's technobabble. John Hazard says deuterium is the fuel they use in man-to-antimatter reactions. And Rafe says the deuterium control conduit was an essential component of a starship's warp propulsion system. Oh, that's why they had to turn warp off to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
This system was maintained by a chief engineer and his staff when a ship was not at warp. Something they never mention again. Something they made up and never mentioned again. Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. So I'm 5 out of 10 for concepts.
Yeah, honestly, the concepts in this episode, as much as I enjoyed it, the concepts are pretty weak sauce here. There's nothing really blowing your mind. It's just kind of
shape shifting. But we've had that plenty of times before. Put your score in if you want.
Yeah,
we'll see if we're getting anywhere near to what other people are thinking.
Gosh, I gotta say, I'm thinking it's concept-wise, it's a little on the low scale. I think it's like a 4.
Maybe, yeah. Nothing to really
I'm saying
get you thinking too much, apart from hormones affecting somebody who's at that level of responsibility on a ship, and how privileged Wesley is and how much he gets away with. Got me thinking about that.
Yeah.
Entertainment. I laughed more than I have in most Star Trek episodes. Intentional laughter.
Yeah, there were intentional jokes.
Yeah, it was some of the silly humor of Star Trek 4, I thought, which I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of that style of humor or something.
This is a good character episode.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get to know people a little bit more, like Worf and Riker and Guinan and
they've got such good comic timing, a lot of them, haven't they?
Yeah.
John said, who said 3? Magic Thigh says it deserves at least 3 points just for the Riker Guinan scene. Yeah, that was really good, wasn't it? Yeah. For entertainment, that will do.
Oh, I'm giving it a high entertainment score.
Oh, yeah. So if you put your scores in, tell us if it's entertainment or concepts now that we're on this bit. The Worf stuff was a bit dodgy because he was talking to a teenager and he was getting really into it, but it was still really funny. Yeah. Decent chemistry between Wes and Celia, but it's hard to get invested in a one-day romance.
Sure.
Those summer nights. Lame fight scene. Surely they could have got somebody in a monster suit fighting properly.
Jazz it up, man.
Jazz it up. There's not been enough foo for at least a year now.
A lot of foo. Yeah.
The first 2 people after Data that Wesley went to for advice about a girl were black men, and no one's a Klingon really, but they're played by black guys. So I'm wondering if that could be seen as progressive or not. Worf was expressed as sexual in the episode, but a submissive sexual being, I guess. I looked at a paper called Popular Imagination and Identity Politics, Reading the Future in Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Hold on. Somebody went down the rabbit hole, didn't they?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. by Brian L. Ott and Eric Aoki.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a quote. By inviting viewers to read his special difference as cultural difference, Worf functions to perpetuate numerous racial stereotypes. Worf, as with the other Klingons in TNG, is depicted as physically powerful, instinctively violent, and overtly sexual. He's not often portrayed as overtly sexual, is he?
No.
Once before, there was a fake female Klingon on.
Yeah.
And he got, horny with her.
Yeah. He got growly.
Yeah. He writes Salomon in 1993, a white man's nightmare of black masculinity.
Oh, whoa.
An amalgamation of the coarsest black stereotypes.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Huh.
It's worth some extra thinking.
Yeah.
David Wetzel just simply shouts, music! And I agree, but I don't know what it's in reference to, so I'll have to have a look at that later. This article continues. Moreover, Worf's sexuality is constructed around black male stereotypes, what Bird in 1998 calls the black book mythic type. One archetypal media image of American, I think that means African American men, is that they're sexual superhumans who are violent and frenzied as they lust for white flesh. In Haven, Worf claims he cannot have sexual relations with human women because human women are too fragile. I would have to restrain myself too much. This statement reinforces racist jokes about the black phallus. So that is another episode where he does say something about sexuality. So I'm interested to think more about that. I don't know.
That does change because he does have relationships with humans.
Does
spoiler.
Oh, does
spoiler.
it?
Yeah. So this might be him bragging a bit as well. I don't know. I mean, these are things to think about, obviously, because they might be in the subtext of it, and we might be able to dismiss them. I wonder what Michael Dorn would say about these things. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, well, that was my rabbit hole anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Almost finished my rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We saw an interracial sexual connection between Riker and Guinan, and I was unclear if it was him having power over her or vice versa, or if it was mutual.
That was mutual.
It definitely seemed to be that way.
It was like a flirty game of ping pong. Kind of like they were back and forth, and then I assume they did it. That was
a joke that she decided to get into.
Yeah.
But are we supposed to think he's out of her league? Is that the joke?
Maybe.
I didn't.
No. I just think
I'm thinking about it too much.
Seem like an unlikely couple, maybe. But why not? I mean, after that scene, I'm saying
get into it because there's some chemistry going on.
Yeah.
Interracial marriage became legal in the USA in 1967. Mildred and Richard Loving, only 22 years before this episode.
Yeah.
So still, potentially that's still quite trailblazing.
Unfortunately.
Screen. Steven says screen.
Yes,
hello.
thank you, Steven.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Director Rob Bowman remembered, decent show about Wesley Crusher falling in love for the first time. I just felt there was no real conflict there. We did the best we could with a simple story. Yeah.
There's not a lot of conflict, but you don't
always.
You don't need it, especially when it's like a kind of a character-driven episode. And I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was fun, and I thought it was funny, and I thought it moved it. I was never bored the whole episode.
Yeah.
Which is great because sometimes Star Trek can be boring. But entertainment, I'd say 7. Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah.
Andrew Brenneman, I hope I'm saying that right, says Riker out of her league. Yeah, good point. And John Hazard says when he was born, his interracial parents' marriage was illegal in half the states.
Oh my God.
One reason I loved the Star Trek future.
Oh God.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's insane.
Sexiness.
Well, ho ho ho. Ho 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 ho.
Well, it was about hormones and attraction.
Yeah.
Puberty's not very sexy though, is it?
Well, no.
Unless you're, even if you're in it, it's not, is it?
No.
You feel sexed up.
Yeah.
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 I would have been way into Will if I'd seen that when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah.
He would have totally been my type, along with Joey from New Kids on the Block. This innocent, cute, pretty looking boy.
Yeah.
There was the sexy best friend from Twin Peaks.
Oh yes, Shelley.
Really gorgeous. But really it was the granny, cock blocker.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Riker and Guinan got the sparks flying. Riker was very cheesy, but it was still great, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
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 I'll give it 3 for sexiness.
I'm gonna knock it up to 4.
Ooh.
Because Star Trek doesn't get that sexy. So for Star Trek, I think it's a 4.
Magic Thighs is giving it a 5 out of 5 for the Ewoks. Steven Turner likes Worf and Sexy Monster Nanny getting it on. Woo!
Yeah.
Wanya is their couple name. Worf and Anya. Says Ray. He's so sad.
I think I'd like to think, just in my head that Worf and Anya, they hooked up before she took off.
Woo.
Yeah, why not?
Rebecca Russell saying that scene with Riker and Guinan makes it a 5 for
wow.
her. Yeah, it's good.
It was good.
It was really good.
It was good.
Stupid experts. Geordi was right to take Wesley off his tasks when he was so dreamy. But get to work, kid. Yeah. Nobody else gets to go and have a day off, having a date kicking around.
Hold on. Maybe in Starfleet, if you get all in love,
they might. It's a mental health day.
They might go, you know what? You need a mental health day.
Yeah.
Go spend some time on your own, or go talk to this girl that you got a crush on.
Probably not supposed to have that young of a person working full time anyway, aren't you?
Well, no.
So,
that whole
let him have a day off.
That's a conceit that we just have to accept.
He's exceptional.
Idea that, that he's exceptional, but everybody in Starfleet seems to be exceptional. Like he didn't even pass the first entry test, remember?
Oh, only because they only would take one person, wasn't it?
Well, but still, what I'm saying is that he's great. Don't get me wrong, but
he's not the only exceptional
there's a lot
one.
of exceptional people. So it's like you get to cut ahead of the line and actually be on a functioning starship in positions. He's like the navigator and at the con and all that stuff. So that seems
they gotta let him go through puberty.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other topic that I'm.
Rafe's given us a live score spreadsheet update. Wait, hang on a sec. We've got to give our stupid experts.
Okay, stupid experts.
Yeah. What if Geordi hadn't been monitoring Wesley though? That would have been could have been catastrophic, really, couldn't it? Because he was doing some dodgy stuff and dropping things. Putting things on the wrong settings. And anyone else would get looked at by Pulaski at least if they were going all dreamy and goo-goo like that, wouldn't they? I don't know. But no, go take it to Laser Quest and a bar. Why not? That seems fair. Yeah. And they didn't check these beings before having them on board. No one thought to explain their deal to them before they arranged the taxi, that they're not actually human and they can shapeshift and be anything.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a secret.
Yeah, or maybe nobody knew.
Or maybe it wasn't a secret.
They just never bothered to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you would think that they would know. Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing, because when they got beamed up, they were beamed up in human form. And at the end, she says, we can't transport.
Oh, yeah. Only because she wants to arrive like that. She'll freak them
that's
out.
What she said. Yeah.
Rafe says Wesley did a better job when he was drunk in The Naked Now. He did, and he was all horned up then as well, wasn't he? So he probably should have been doing a better job in this episode.
He wasn't horned up and Naked Now.
Wasn't he?
No.
Was that in The Naked Time?
No, that was... No. He wasn't horned up. He was drunk, but he was just messing with the chips and stuff. Remember? And there was that...
Oh, yeah.
That one engineer guy who was... with the
his live video Rachel watched. And finally, at least Worf was keeping his eyes on Anya on the tour.
Yeah.
But I guess they trick the transporter when they came in? Didn't it pull up that they weren't actually human? And Troy was barely, doing her usual poor thing.
Poor Troy.
Barely helpful. 3 out of 5, -3 for stupid experts.
Yeah, I mean,
is that harsh?
See, I wouldn't... See, the problems with it, I feel like, are script things. Like the technology would have picked this up or that would have happened. Nobody was doing anything that maybe you should know better.
That's O'Brien's fault, isn't it? If the transporter's not picking
up. I guess
stuff.
You're right, O'Brien's fault. Yeah, and they always, they're shoehorning O'Brien in every episode.
They love him,
like
don't they?
They love him.
Rafe says, update, 30 points. Joint's 65th rated episode out of 148. Level with Dagger of the Mind and Court Martial. Whoa.
Oh, gosh, I liked this better than Court Martial for sure.
Did, yeah.
Wow.
My guess is I got the costume wrong. There was no gold faux leather bras.
No.
I did like the costume. That was really good.
Yeah.
She was sensitive on the inside, though.
Yeah.
He wasn't tempted to leave the Enterprise, but he did suggest that she stay.
Yes.
Whoopi did get involved as an advisor, and it did all happen on the ship.
Yeah.
So some bits there.
I got excited when you said that Whoopi gets involved as an advisor. I went,
Yeah, so glad she's back, and she's in lots of
yeah.
episodes now.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our coverage of this show. This is our first live recording. We will edit this heavily.
But you were here.
But you were here when it happened.
Yeah.
And I think we'll keep this on YouTube. So if people
well.
want to watch it, they can watch it. But the normal feed.
And people can look at your comments, I think, as they watch it. I presume that's how it works.
They're still in there, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much, everybody, for making it so fun.
Yeah, I think we'll do this again for sure.
I liked it.
Try and do it at least once a month. I mean, just for scheduling purposes, it's a little difficult for us because we're actually doing things out of order because we're watching a Discovery. A Discovery comes out this week.
Yes, and then we need to watch another Discovery, and then this will come out.
This comes out the following.
But we thought you'd probably rather have this as a TNG than a Discovery, so that's why we changed the
that's what
order. We won't always have to. Thank you, David. Thank you, Peter. Thanks, No. Really enjoyed hanging out with you.
Yeah. Well, and let us know what you think about this stuff. We will do it again.
Thanks, John and Boris.
Because, should we do more comment interaction? Should we just take our time with it? We've recorded for about an hour, a little over an hour right now.
So that's only about 15 minutes more than we'd normally record for, isn't it? The room where it happened. Oh, yeah. How does that one go, Rebecca? In the room where it happened. The room where it happened. Is that how it goes? Is that right? Well, that's Hamilton, isn't it?
This isn't quite the setup I had envisioned. This is sort of we're doing this on Rachel's laptop, and I had my camera set up over there, and I got something wrong with the streaming. It was streaming, but not to what this was supposed to be happening. Long story short, I wanted to, this is the framing I don't like, because you can see my messy bookshelf back there. It would have been more something maybe like this, but then I would have brought this maybe
back. We can have some stuff on the green screen.
If we come back like this, and then we do it like that here.
Look at that angry John Hazard saying, do Discovery Live so I can trash talk.
Oh, I like Discovery.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer, for being here. Really glad you're here, Jennifer DeFord.
That's great.
Oh, thanks, everybody. That's it, Rebecca. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. More live stuff would be great, says Forrest.
Yeah.
It wasn't stress. It was lovely, wasn't it? It might have been stress for you trying to set it up and then it not working. But once you've done it once.
It didn't work, and that sort of freaked me out a little bit. But that we've done this once, and I think it'll be an easier thing to manage. And we have to record the show anyway. So we have to record the show anyway. I'm not talking in the microphone anymore.
We don't need to hear this bit.
No, this is all just for you guys.
Thanks, Andrew. And David's sticking up for your messy bookcase. It says there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, the room is all
messy bookcase, a messy book floor.
A messy book floor, messy book armpits. It's just messy book everything. Yeah, I got books
coming out of your wazoo.
My wazoo.
Yeah.
But again, thank you, everybody. And that will conclude our first live
screen,
recording.
Says Stephen. Because it is still recording now when we don't need it. Lots of love, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. Bye.
Bye-bye.